in the middle of a dusty war zone, far from the public eye and military oversight. 3. American soldiers were found lying face down inside their own base, executed with precision shots to the back of the head. No forced entry, no sign of enemy engagement, no missing weapons. It wasn't the Taliban. It wasn't a mistake. It was someone inside. Before we dive deeper into this story, if you're invested in uncovering the truth, subscribe now for exclusive content and in-depth investigations. Hit that like button if you're following along, and stay tuned for more. Let's proceed. Camp Sentinel, a remote U.S. forward operating base in Khost Province, Afghanistan, woke to the usual pre-dawn routine. Reveille, gear checks, morning patrols. But on June 17, 2014, Sergeant First Class Neil Dawson noticed something was off. 3 soldiers had not reported for 0500. Roll call: Private First Class Trey Briggs, PFC Devin Harlow, and Specialist Jordan Weiss, all members of Bravo Platoon, 2nd Squad. They'd last been seen heading to the armory at 2,200 hours the previous night. By 0600, a quick search ended with a chilling discovery. Inside the Northern Storage Annex, an unauthorized entry point for regular soldiers, were the bodies of Briggs, Harlow, and Weiss. Each had been shot execution style. Their rifles remained slung on their backs, their helmets set neatly beside them. The door had been unlocked from the inside. No alarms, no breach. The scene was clinical, calculated. Briggs, 22, had only been in country 3 months. Fresh out of Fort Benning, he was known for his quick wit and bad habit of recording everything on his handheld camcorder. Harlow, 24, a family man from Texas, was 2 weeks from rotation. Weiss, 28, the squad's quietest member, had re-enlisted twice and had the respect of everyone, even the brass. There was no immediate reason for their deaths, no known disciplinary action, no feuds with leadership, nothing. At first glance, that made sense. CID Special Agent Marla Cortez arrived from Bugram within 48 hours. A career investigator, Cortez had seen drug overdoses, accidental discharges, even a soldier murdered over a stolen laptop. But this, 3 soldiers, executed on secure ground, was unlike anything she'd encountered. The initial sweep turned up little. No DNA beyond the victims. No prints on the gun, which matched a Beretta M9 missing from the armory but never reported lost. The security cameras covering the annex had been disabled manually just hours before the attack. Whoever did this knew the system and knew their victims. As Cortez dug deeper, cracks appeared in the unit's polished surface. Interviews revealed a rising divide between soldiers who followed the rules and those who didn't. Several members of Bravo Platoon had formed a tight-knit clique, calling themselves the Ridgebacks, known for pushing boundaries and hoarding perks from local interactions. Staff Sergeant Mike Reddick, the squad leader, was described as controlling, aggressive, and untouchable. He'd been deployed 4 times and often referred to the war as profitable. Weiss had clashed with him weeks before his death, quietly, but seriously, over missing supply crates. PFC Harlow had reportedly told another soldier, "Something's going on in this unit. If I get hit, it won't be from the outside." The breakthrough came not from interviews, but from a misplaced GoPro. Briggs's camcorder, recovered from his bunk, held more than just patrol footage. On June 16th, less than 24 hours before the murders, Briggs had recorded a whispered conversation between himself, Weiss, and Harlow inside a Humvee. In it, the 3 discussed a plan to report unauthorized shipments being made from the supply tents to friendly Afghan contacts, shipments that included ammo, fuel, and in at least 1 case, pharmaceuticals. The names mentioned: Reddick, Corporal Jake Derns, and, chillingly, their commanding officer, Lieutenant Carl Wexler. Briggs's final words on the recording were, "This needs to go to CID tomorrow, first thing." They didn't live to see that morning. Armed with the recording, Cortez brought in Reddick first. He denied everything, said the recording was staged. The soldiers were just stirring drama. But when Derns was pulled in next, he cracked under pressure. He admitted to helping move crates, but claimed he didn't know what was in them. When asked who gave the order, he muttered one word: Wexler. The commanding officer had a spotless record. West Point graduate, fast-tracked, a future colonel in the making. But a search of his quarters revealed encrypted burner phones and unreported cash, over $14,000, hidden in a locked ammo can. Wexler was detained on suspicion of trafficking military supplies for personal profit, but nothing directly tied him to the murders. No blood, no gunpowder residue, no admission. The trail seemed to stall. It was a stray fingerprint that changed everything. When forensic teams re-examined the storage room door, They discovered a partial smudge on the inside handle. One missed in the first sweep. It matched Jake Dern's. Confronted, Dern's broke. He confessed to entering the storage annex that night with Reddick and Wexler. The plan had been to confront the three soldiers, intimidate them into silence. But things escalated. Reddick had brought the pistol. They weren't supposed to die, Dern said, hands shaking. Wexler said if they talked, everything would crash. Reddick said no witnesses. Then he did it, one by one. Wexler denied giving the kill order. Reddick said the situation got out of control. But the truth was undeniable. The killer wore the same uniform. The threat came from within. Reddick was charged with 3 counts of premeditated murder. Dern's took a plea deal, 10 years for accessory to murder and obstruction. Wexler, though never proven to have pulled the trigger, was convicted of conspiracy, dereliction of duty, smuggling, and destruction of evidence. The U.S. military made no official public statement about the smuggling ring. The families of Briggs, Harlow, and Weiss received folded flags, closed coffins, and promises that justice had been served. But back in Camp Sentinel, the scars remained. Cortez later wrote in her report, "The war front was not what killed these soldiers. They died because they trusted the uniform around them, and someone used that trust to silence them." The barracks where the murders occurred was later converted into a chapel. The case shook command structures, but quietly. In the war zone, such stories rarely reach the evening news. The system absorbs what it must and moves on. But those who were there remember. They remember the silence of the storage annex, the missing names at roll call, the recording of 3 brave soldiers, trying to do what was right in a place where wrong had become routine. The most dangerous enemy isn't always the one beyond the fence. Sometimes it wears the same boots, sleeps in the same tent, eats in the same mess hall. And when that enemy decides you're a threat, not to the mission, but to the secret, it doesn't strike from a mountain or a roadside bomb. It waits until nightfall and locks the door from the inside. Was it loyalty or a warning? Drop your theory in the comments and subscribe for more true crime stories that dig beneath the surface.